Is 2017 Honda cbr1000rr stator change. I looked all over YouTube and they don't have my year, or at least someone doesn't really show. But I do want to show you the difference of a new one and an old one. For this year make and model, they like ceramic coated it with, or rubber coated it with something. So this is how you tell if yours is burned out or not. It's a new one, old one. It's 2023 now, so I had this since 2017. So I changed the rectifier. That didn't do it. Got a new battery right here. So I started out with the battery. That didn't work. It still would turn on, but then it would shut off. So I thought the rectifier, this thing, was bad, and it wasn't. So this was 200 and something. The battery was 170, and then I checked everything out, fuses, just to make sure everything was in working order, and it was. None of my fuses were blown, which I'll probably change anyways. So then the last assumption is the stator, which then I found out once I had opened it that it was bad. Make sure you get rid of all your oil before you change the stator. No one really seems to tell you that. I almost found out the hard way and got it all over my floor, but luckily I saw a couple drips and I said, nope, gonna take out the oil. So I did. So to give you an example of what you have to do, you're gonna have to take your tank fairing has to come out, the rear fairing, the top, the bottom piece, and the plastic pieces that go along with it. They all have to come out. So I took everything out, just because it makes everything easier. Essentially your battery has to come out too, because I have to take that cable, this cable right here, which I'm kind of putting on the, so I lifted up the tank. You lift up the tank, you insert it through the bottom here underneath this hose, and then you don't need a lot of play area. It's kind of hard to see, but there's cables all over there on the bottom. So right now I'm currently on the process of just running it underneath here. Then it's gonna come out underneath here, wrapping it around the bottom edge, and then it went here, snaked up here. So this is where the battery is at, this section right here. This section is where all your fuses are, and then eventually it comes out to here, and then I plug it into my regulator, put this bad boy back, and hopefully I should have this running. So I thought this was gonna do the trick, but if you have a bike and it's more than, I want to say 6-7 years old, obviously start out with the battery first. If the battery's not working, then check your stators. So I didn't do this, but you gotta check each prong for continuity or unlimited power. So to make this a lot quicker, so pretty much you have a bridge, right? Connection bridges, which are those terminals I just showed. So if there's no continuity, it stays open. If there's continuity, meaning the bridge is closed, that means electricity is going endlessly, which again I call it continuity, endless continuity, unlimited power, another word I use. So if it has unlimited power because there's electric just running constantly and it's not distributing electricity evenly to where the motorcycle needs electricity. So it needs to be open. So one way you can check, you grab your multimeter. I got this from Home Depot, and go here. You need the ohm, this thing right here. So again, to give you an example, if it touches and you hear a beep, that means there's unlimited power. It's just touching, and it needs to not touch. So you see, it's touching. You think it's bad? Anyways, but just to show anyone who has the same CBR 2017, I haven't really seen it on YouTube. So to save you kind of the headache, and if you don't want to spend thousands or hundreds of dollars, yeah. So I'm gonna have the case here. I'm gonna put it back just like that, and then reconnect everything else. Put it in there. Another thing too is the gaskets. There's no gaskets for this. This is like a rubber gasket. I didn't get that, but that's the least of my worries. I'll pick that up later. I just wanted to make sure that I got this thing in first and routing it to the correct part that I needed to. But yeah, essentially your bike, you're gonna have to lift up. I didn't lift it up all the way. You can. I was afraid that I might have unplugged it and all the gas might have leaked. So again, I just pulled it up just fairly where I can get a good view, and run the cable, snake the cable underneath the motorcycle. And pay attention, because there's like a couple clips that kind of hold on to it so it doesn't wobble. But just make sure you do it right. But again, you start off from there, underneath the tank, snake it through. It's gonna wrap around eventually to this hand right here. It's gonna come out. Then you want to snake it through on the bottom, and then right on that hole where my finger's at, right here, and then plug it in. Don't leave slack, I guess I would say, because mine was pretty tight. So you want everything to be tight, not too snug or not too loose. But again, just to show anyone who has a problem, and again, my bike, when I had this issue, it would start, I'm sorry, should I say it didn't start, it clicked, so it made like endless clicks. I thought maybe my starter would have been bad, but that was my last option. But everything did turn on, my cluster did turn on, but what I noticed is that my lights, my headlights were dimmed, like really dimmed. I can't show you now, obviously, but both my lights and my my side lights, my turning signals, I'm sorry, they were very, very dim when I turned them on. So I'm kind of new to this. It's kind of just me doing it. I'm doing a lot of research. But yeah, that's pretty much everything that you have to do to change the starter. And also kind of a video if anyone needs, like, let's say you check your starter and that's not the problem, or I'm sorry, not your starter, your stator, and that's not the problem, but maybe this thing right here is your problem, the rectifier. Just check the prongs, just like how I showed you guys earlier. If you get conduited or unlimited power, if you hear that beep, that means the thing is fried. So you might want to check it. Check that wire first. Check this wire first. If that determines that, if you get unlimited power or you hear that beep, that means this thing is fried out just like how you see it. And then you don't have to spend, like I did, almost $300 for this, and another $300 for that. Actually was $320. So overall, with the battery, which was $170, almost $300, almost $800 worth of parts when I only needed just this stupid thing right here, this stator. But yeah, again, make sure you take that oil out before you start doing that, because it's going to get all over your floor. And again, I have chucks here to kind of make sure I don't stain my floors. But yeah.